You're live.
Are we live?
Yeah.
We are live. What's going on? This is Faris Savedi, co-founder and CEO of MySwimPro. I'm super excited to be here with you today on a beautiful sunny day at the swimming pool. We are going to learn the steps in how to do a dive. That's right, how to do a dive, where you start out of the water and you enter the water in a nice streamlined position. So I mentioned it, but the most important word in all of this in learning how to dive is streamline. Streamline is the fundamental body position in swimming. It's where, let's kind of get a close up here on my hands. So when, with your hands, it's really all about one hand goes over the other one. Your top hand, your thumb grabs the bottom hand, and that extends all the way through. You want to be really tight, and you want to get your body like a torpedo, like a missile, really narrow, because you want to decrease resistance by the time you enter the water, okay? So you might be thinking, well, I have no idea how to do a dive. It's like way too scary. If you look at look how high up we are. The water seems so far away. And the way you learn how to do a dive, even if you've got like a diving board or a diving block, you don't worry about any of that. The way you start diving is, first of all, you learn the streamline. And the second step after the streamline is diving off the side from a seated position. We're gonna go through all of these different steps and how you learn how to do the dive. But the first skill is actually the streamline. So I'm gonna hop in the water and I'm gonna focus on the streamline technique. Once we nail the streamline, the next step is gonna be going off the side. But first, we're gonna start in the water. So I'm gonna go ahead and get in the water. I'm ready, got my goggles on. I'm gonna sit, slide in. Water feels great. Okay, so the first step, and I'm gonna push off the wall in streamline. I'm gonna hit streamline before I even push off the wall. That's the key. So you might wanna watch from above. I'm gonna go underwater, I'm gonna see. So that's step number one. You wanna be in streamline. You don't wanna worry about kicking or doing anything like that. It's all about the streamline. I'll do it one more time, and I'll push off a little bit harder, and I'll start kicking. And if you notice, I can go pretty far even though I'm not starting out of the water. That's how important streamline is. So we'll try it one more time. Maybe if from a different position, like from over there, coming at me so you can follow me. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna go underwater, I'm gonna hit the streamline, and then I'm gonna push off. So you can see just how far I went off the wall only from the streamline. So once we nail the streamline, then we can move on to step two. I'll meet you guys back at the wall. All right, we are on step number two in how you do a dive. So we're actually gonna sit on the side of the pool. If you have a swimming pool that is multi-leveled like this deck, you might be able to actually sit even closer to the surface of the water, and which I'm going to do right now. And then remember, it's all about streamline. So I'm sitting in a streamline position, but my hands are really far from the water. So I'm just going to lean forward, and I'm going to just slide my body into the water. Streamline, I'm just going to lean forward, lean. So that's step two. Now, it's really important to make sure that you hold your streamlined position. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Oftentimes, when a swimmer is learning this skill, if you lift your head up too early, you're going to belly smack. So it's really important that you maintain a really tight streamline, really tight, and you just lean forward. Okay, so after you've mastered leaning forward and sliding in, the next step is my favorite. You're gonna be on top of the water, but you're gonna be kneeling. So this is fun. So if you get a little closer here, what's happening? So if you get really close, so I have both my feet are facing the direction that I wanna go. I have my front foot, my toes, get a close up here. My toes are wrapped over the front. Again, if you have a different pool deck, you might be closer to the water right here. So I've got a good grip. And then if you kind of zoom out, you can see how maybe from this side, you can see that both my feet are pointing in the direction that I want to go. I'm in a nice tall posture. I'm going to be in streamline. and I'm just gonna lean forward. I'm not worrying about how far I go. I find a point not that far out, and I want my fingertips to slide in to the same hole and let my whole body travel through it. Streamline, I'm gonna lean forward, forward, forward. Yay. All right, we're gonna try that one more time with a little bit more power, the follow through. All right. It also doesn't matter which foot goes forward, so you might be more comfortable like this. You might be more comfortable with your other foot. You have to decide which one you're more comfortable with. So on this one, I want maybe if you stand over there, you get a little bit further away. So on this one, I'm gonna follow through. I'm gonna stay in the streamline, but I'm gonna find a point a little bit further away. We're gonna follow that point all the way through, and I'm gonna push and follow through with my legs. So, streamline, lean in. So you go a little bit further. You guessed it, we're on the last part here. So when we're working on how to do the dive, it really comes down to the most important word in swimming, streamline. You've got to be in streamline. If you can't do that and you lift your head up and you hit the water like this, like Superman, you're gonna get a belly flop. Belly flop is really painful. We don't like the belly flop. We don't want that. So the next step here, the last step, we're ready to go from like a standing position. You can either have both your feet even, or you can keep a track start where one foot is back. Doesn't matter if it's your right leg or your left leg, as long as both your feet are pointing in the direction that you want to go, that is the most important part. So both my feet pointing in the direction I want to go. We're gonna hit the streamline. So I'm actually more comfortable with this foot. So I'm gonna make sure my feet are angled out. I'm in a nice athletic position, so I'm not standing up tall. My knees are bent, leaning forward, streamline. And I'm just gonna lean forward, find a point, and follow through. And on this one, I'm not gonna kick at all. I'm gonna focus on hitting the water in a really, really tight streamline, not making any splash. I'm gonna make splash, but try not to make a lot of splash. I'm gonna fall into the water, I'm gonna push, I'm just gonna hold my streamline. All right, let's see what happens. And we made it about 12 yards without doing any kicking. It really comes down to having a really, really tight streamline. All right, let's come back to the wall and we'll summarize. Woo! Man, that was a lot of fun. So we learned all the steps necessary in how to do a dive off the side of the pool. The next step is when you get more comfortable going off the side where you're about even with the surface of the water, is you go maybe to a diving board like this, about half a meter above the top of the water, and then you move on to a diving block, a raising competition block. And if it feels really intimidating on a diving block, that's okay. Start on the side of the pool. Start by sitting, then kneeling, and then working your way up to standing. And then finally you can move to a half meter and then a diving block, which is about 1 meter, a little bit less, off the top of the water. If you want more training tips, check out the MySwimPro app. If you like this video, give us a like, a subscribe, leave some love in the comments. We'll see you guys later. Bye.